Silence. That's what I like. Silence at the beginning or end or middle of our show.
Wait, what are you talking about? I thought you were gonna ask me a question.
Yeah. Hey, what who is Vishnu?
Vishnu's Hindu.
No, I know who Vishnu is. I forget why we were talking about Vishnu though.
I have no idea.
Hey, what are we doing again?
Wait a second. Is there a third person here now?
Ain't nobody used to give a damn. Yeah, I had to go and make a different plan. Yeah, guess who didn't get included? Even though you made me better, yo, I strictly do it for the fam.
And guys, we already know. Once again, this is still What Grinds Our Gears, the podcast, which is becoming a full-blown family project at this point. Where joining me and Aaron is our brother Casey from Omega Burst Gaming, and our newly admitted sister of Sally from Twitch's own Valley the Vampire. Where today we're taking a break from Super, actually. Surprise, surprise.
We're taking a break? But I just watched the new episode.
I know, we all did. We all did.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Vegeta got disarmed twice.
And Universe 9 is gone. Okay, we talked about that. Where today we're talking about the age-old thing for all anime watchers. Anime memories.
Anime memories. Woo! Oh yeah.
The big topic about where you first started with anime to where you are now and how your tastes have changed over the years. So, Aaron, since you and I have discussed this topic in great detail, why don't you decide who starts off first?
Oh, let's see. We haven't heard from Casey yet on our podcast. Let's start with him.
Okay, well, the first anime I remember watching was Dragon Ball Z, which I'm sure that's common for a lot of people. So I caught a couple episodes of that at my grandparents' house, and then I loved it. I watched all of it, like, as it was airing. Eventually moved on to... There was Yu Yu Hakusho that was airing on Adult Swim, I think. I caught Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop around that time as well. Am I supposed to keep going or what? Like,
you can fast forward to today if you want. It's all up to
okay,
you.
I don't know. I'm watching a lot of shit right now.
How have your tastes changed?
How have your tastes changed?
Show on well, back when I watched it was Toonami.
Yeah, there was Toonami.
And then then they started showing them. Then Toonami became like an hour-long experience nowadays after Adult Swim. So I don't get that, but like the shows they showed on Toonami were pretty tame compared to the other anime that's out there.
Yeah.
So as you broadened your horizons in the anime ocean, did your taste change?
I wouldn't say that they've necessarily changed, but I have expanded. Because I still like the stuff I watched back in the day. But, you know, I'll watch an anime with an incredibly good story. Full Metal Alchemist is one of my favorites. Hellsing Ultimate's another favorite of mine. Trying to think of what I'm watching currently besides Dragon Ball Super. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch the ones that are serious. I'll watch the stupid anime. The ones that have the plot.
I sit through and watch those too with my special other. She forces me to watch them. What was that one with the tabletop tiger? What was that one? Toradora.
You shut up. That was a good anime.
I mean, I'll give most of them a shot, and if it doesn't grab my attention in 3 or 4 episodes, then move on.
Oh no, the one that's notorious in this house. I cannot stand it, but all the other kids love it. It's Chobits.
I love Chobits.
I know everybody in this house.
Oh yeah, I remember. I watched that.
I know.
Decent, yeah.
I just didn't like that one. Not a favorite of mine. All right, how about Sally? How about you?
I first discovered anime through my best friend since first grade. She was really into Dragon Ball Z. She's like, you should watch it, you'll like it. And the first episode I saw, like I didn't see the first episode. I saw when Vegeta landed. Thus the Vegeta fangirl grew more and more. And then she was like, and then I was like, is there any animes where like girls do something more than just science? Like Bulma's pretty cool, but like, do they fight? And she's like, well, there's Sailor Moon. So we started watching Sailor Moon together, and that became my forever love. So when Crystal came out, I was like, yeah, I'm watching the dub. And it was just like the manga, so I was happy. But then I also like, I like Dragon Ball Z. And then as I got, not Dragon Ball Z, Digimon. And then as I got older, I got into, like anything vampire I loved. And then my friend told me about Vampire Academy, which was pretty good. And my tastes haven't really truly changed. I really haven't dove too much into like the risque animes. Not that I don't mind that stuff, because I'll watch like rated R TV shows, stuff like that. But I'm like, I don't want to see a cartoon of like that kind of stuff. I rather watch real people. So I kind of just stick to, I guess, the kid-friendly ones. Kind of my taste, but yeah. Now that the new Sailor Moon is really kid-friendly, because there's curse words, it's a little more violent. Like, it's a lot more like the manga, which is nice. They actually show the relationship between Uranus and Neptune. They're going to show the Sailor Stars and them transforming from male to female. So they're going to do all of that, which the original didn't do, so.
The original anime transgenders.
Right? They disguise themselves as, like, superstars, and they're like, oh, we're girls. And Usagi's like, am I bisexual?
Nah.
There's a lot of pansexualism in anime, isn't there?
A little bit.
Alright, me or you?
I have, like, the old people catalog, so you go first.
I'm older than you!
But I have the old people catalog of anime.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but okay.
She's just trying to sound cool.
So, I got first introduced to anime when my parents first got cable. When cable was a thing, you had to actually pay for cable. It was
God,
just
we
like
sound old with that cable.
The good old days.
Have a cable box installed in your basement so that all your TVs could have cable.
Yep.
And HBO wasn't what it was today. What it is today. Anyways, I believe it was when they had HBO and Akira was on, and I watched that. So my introduction to anime as a teenager was like one of the most violent anime films you could find at the time.
Hell of an intro.
Oh yeah.
And I just was addicted. Like, I'm like, this is a cartoon. You can't do that in a cartoon. Wile E. Coyote doesn't even die in a cartoon. How can you blow somebody's head off with your mind? So I started watching. Cartoon Network was the big thing back then, and then they started doing Toonami. Like, they just introduced it, and I started seeing these ads for Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, all the ones that were listed before, basically. And I started watching them, but back then it was like a 3-hour block because they didn't have Adult Swim. So it was like Toonami from 7:30 till midnight or whatever the heck it was. And I watched, they had Big O. Big O was another one of my favorites.
Love Big O.
He's like the Asian Batman, He's
Yeah.
with a giant mech suit, armor. And my tastes, again, just like Casey's, my tastes haven't changed. They've just broadened, they've widened. Like me and Jenny, we used to have Funimation and Crunchyroll. And we keep seeing these ads, whether they're on Facebook or the computer or whatever, for this one freaking anime that I could never find. And we finally got Crunchyroll, and that was the only one it was on, was Parasite. And I was interested because then the ad starts out with a man standing in front of his wife, and then his head opens up into a bunch of fangs.
Yeah.
And chomps her head off. And I'm like, wait a second, what? And that's the ad for the show. There was no like explanation as to why it is the way it is. It's just
Watch
that.
this.
So yeah, watch him eat his wife's head off.
Funny
We watched
notion.
it really freaking good. Another one was Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
And these are some of the darker animes where they're not like Parasite. There wasn't much hope throughout that show until like the very end, you know. And Tokyo Ghoul, I actually cheated and I kind of read ahead. And we would watch the whole first season, but then I had to read ahead to see if there was going to be a season 2. It turns out I think there is a season 2 coming, or there is a season 2 out now, or whatever.
I think
Well,
it's out.
There is a season 2 technically, but it's not like the manga basically, because it's different from after Kaneki comes out of being kidnapped and shit. But that's a whole nother story for another day.
Oh, so they changed it from the manga? Because I read what happens in the manga.
Yeah, but that's something I'm gonna leave for one of our other siblings to do when he starts up his channel, because that's a whole can of worms right there.
Well, hopefully it changes for the better, because me and Jenny were really liked that show, and then I read ahead and I'm like, this doesn't sound like it's going to go in any good direction. But yeah, we got into the, like I said, Jenny likes Chobits, and well, she likes all the ones that I like too, but she likes more of the romantic ones too.
Joe
So
loves Hideki. Does Hideki love Chi?
So I get a taste of all of the varieties of anime. My favorites are still, you know, the Dragon Ball. I think that'll always be, because that,
Yeah.
you have this he's Superman. He's Asian Superman. Well, he's not even Asian. They don't even specify.
He's just like a
He's an alien.
He's an alien.
well, they're both aliens, except one's
Well,
one's a fucking pussy, another one's Goku.
You're gonna offend some Vegeta fans out there.
I was talking about Superman, but all right.
Oh, see, I screwed that one up. No, but I like how, like, in Dragon Ball, they don't even say where it happens. It's just Earth,
I know, right? No
Just
time or
someplace.
anything. But there's dinosaurs.
right? What's with the
They fly
dinosaur?
cars, and I'm
And
like,
dog President Mayor things.
yeah.
Hey, I'd rather have a dog as a president. I mean, you know.
True.
True.
Why poke me?
Well,
Oh,
I guess.
okay. How about you, V? Now it's you. It's on to you. Now you
Alright.
can't escape it.
All right, so how did I get started with anime? I remember I was around 6 years old, and I was visiting my now deceased friend Levi at his house when I used to still live in poor old Russia, and he had these imported VHS tapes. God, that just sounds so old. VHS tapes
What's
of
that?
these old anime like Astro Boy and Gigantor were the first
That's
animes.
what you meant by the old
Yeah.
man shit.
Anime. I get it. I used to watch Speed Racer, if that makes you feel better.
That was actually that's actually been my favorite anime ever since I was a little kid, because Speed was like my hero, because I don't know what it is, but I like a good story where it has nice twist, but goofy characters, like in Lupin the Third. And I kept falling in love with the genre over the years, where I even almost attempted to make my own anime every now and again with characters I then reuse and different stuff. Like, technically in my web series that I'm making for both, a lot of the characters I've written about are from old recycled anime plots that I've made since I was like 9 years old. So I've been kind of evolving with the entire stuff, where today my taste have actually just pretty much changed from just looking for what's in the present to just looking at what's going through the time capsules, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't really enjoy a lot of modern anime, because a lot of the stuff I see today, like in the shonen genre of My Hero Academia, or stuff like what was that one? Anything involving like Kuroko no Basket or Hikru or whatever the fuck that's called. I just can't get into the modern stuff the way I used to, like, for some certain reason. I can only get in touch with stuff like the Macross stuff from the old Robotech trilogies back in the day, or rewatching some older stuff that came out a couple of years ago, like rewatching Death Note, or getting back into stuff that has died out through the hype train like Kill la Kill, or as recently as I've been trying to avoid it again, Akame ga Kill has kind of appealed to me more, even with its badly written story, to the point where I'm finding myself as being not a current anime watcher, but one that likes to see stuff when it's through a small little window that has its own moments. I'll see modern stuff like Food Wars, since I like to voice act as Hayama Akira. That's one of my favorite voices to voice act as, honestly. And also looking into other stuff like 91 Days and something involving the words Lion and March, and this upcoming anime called Inuyashiki that comes from the creator of Gantz. I have my taste for the modern stuff, but since I've kind of grown up with the old godfather of anime stuff, that's where my mind has always drifted off to, where that's where my tastes have begun, and that's where my core values have stayed. That's just where I've been.
Hey man, don't forget, we just binge watched Castlevania.
Oh my god, that's so good!
It was fantastic. I loved it.
I watched Black Butler. I hear that one's really good too.
Oh yeah.
Never did finish it.
Nothing beats Master has adult sex slave demon as his companion.
I'm mad at myself. I forgot to mention Gurren Lagann. That's one of my favorites.
I started watching that one too, and I didn't realize it was about a giant head. Giant machine.
There's
head.
more than just the giant head.
I
know.
That show is just so epic. It gets more and more over the top as it goes on, and I loved it.
You know, as you were talking about, like, Robotech and Astro Boy, and then Speed Racer came about, and you kind of know Speed Racer's kind of famous for their dialogue in the American station. You know? And watching those old animes always kind of reminded me of, like, watching when the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys are watching, like, Godzilla.
Oh,
and they're speaking in the translations. I don't know why I had to bring that up, but I thought it was funny.
It is kind of funny when they're trying to match up the English with the Japanese voice piece.
Well, it's almost like whoever did the voiceovers for Godzilla, you know, the terrible freaking, oh my god, it's Godzilla.
Because that's how people talk.
It's almost like they used the same voice translating guy to do, like, Speed Racer.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The words have to match exactly what comes out of his mouth when his lips aren't moving.
And then the 80s came, and then it was like, fuck matching how the dialogue goes in Battle of the Planets and technically Saint Seiya and Ronin Warriors and the 80s version of Gundam that was in the works. Like remember Casey? It was that guy with the red headband trying to fight for his girlfriend Ray. I think it was like G Gundam.
Think so?
G Gundam.
I'm not as familiar with Gundam as a lot of other things, but
you're talking about Mobile Suit Gundam Wing?
No, not Gundam Wing. It was this one where it was a fight tournament. I forget what it was, but it was like this one cocky bastard with a red headband.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sounds familiar.
It's bugging the shit out of me.
I will remember it.
But, man, out of all this stuff, the only thing I can gripe about is how stupid a lot of the fucking anime is today.
I was going to ask you how you felt about the I don't know if there's a new Speed Racer.
Oh, that's right.
It can die in a fire. It can die in a fucking fire, along with Aramanga Sensei.
Or, what was the other one? Voltron. Netflix brought back Voltron.
I appreciate them doing a reboot, but I don't like the execution. There are a lot of good ideas, but personally, I was like, no.
It's like what it looks and sounds like is they use the writers and the animators from Legend of Korra and The Last Airbender, because a lot of the voice actors are the same too.
Yeah.
Between two shows.
Like Keith sounds like Mako and shit, but I mean,
I'm trying to.
And then I had one more thing to throw on your fire, V. How do you feel about this new Netflix Americanized version of Death Note?
Oh,
now
gosh.
that is actually something that's actually something I'm saving for when I review the film, but here's just a small snippet about how I felt about it from the trailers. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But hear me out on why.
Well, the opening... okay,
Willem Dafoe.
you go ahead.
Just hear me out on this, Aaron. Now, we all know and hate Light Yagami. That has been the cynical bastard his entire life to just be god of the new world. With probably my favorite character that I want to voice act as pretty soon, Ryuk. And my spirit animal of L. That is the testament of something that they've already done multiple live-action stuff of Death Note in Japan, which are pretty good, but also kind of terrible. I'm looking at the second movie most of all. But Light Turner is different. It's an American Light doing a different journey from Japanese Light. It's not supposed to be whitewashing. It's America's own retelling of what would happen if an American got this book instead of a Japanese kid. It's the same issue I have with those that bitch and moan about Iron Man not being a Japanese American, when in actuality Danny Rand has always been a pure-blooded white American.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Whatever. My point remains, though, is that Light Turner is a different entity from Light Yagami, meaning that this property needs to be treated as something more professional instead of like, oh my god! Night Wolf is playing his late Emic, yeah! Ah no! L is black! Wah!
Wow. That was a different turn than I was expecting from you, D.
I have layers.
You're like
an onion, yeah.
Ogres are like onions. They have layers.
Making an anime and making it live action usually doesn't go very well, because you have some kind of magical element or something like that where it just looks stupid when they're doing it.
Dragon Ball Z Evolution.
Look pretty cool.
We don't talk about that. I meant about other stuff that never existed, okay? EQ never existed. We don't talk about that.
Has anybody seen the live action version of Rurouni Kenshin?
It's the perfect live action. I'm sorry. I got excited. I'm sorry.
But well, they're very good.
All I've seen are snippets, little clips. And they're like iconic parts in the anime.
It's perfect.
And I want to see it.
I love it. It's perfect.
So, since they're doing a live-action Full Metal Alchemist movie, and the characters from Full Metal Alchemist aren't Japanese, but they're being played by Japanese actors, what would you call that? Not whitewashing, but what?
Yellow washing.
Yeah.
No filters.
Well, I'm not saying I'm racist, because I'm not. I'm prejudiced against 90% of the human population.
As far as Death Note is concerned, I wasn't bothered by it because, to be fair to me, I've only seen 6 episodes of the anime.
It's a good anime. It brings a lot of moral...
Oh, I mean, I've enjoyed it so far, but I do have to agree, Light is a total dickhead. In just 6 episodes.
And eat it!
I gotta rewatch. We started rewatching the anime. You see, I watched the anime when me and Jenny first got together, because she introduced me to it. And then we went out and we bought the live-action Japanese movie, which was pretty much just the anime in movie format. And then they put it on Netflix, right? The anime, they put the anime on Netflix, and we started watching it again, and I haven't ever finished it. So
just stop after the halfway through. Just, trust me, the ending is bullshit. Yes, Sally?
They announced the Death Note American version. One of my friends, big as a Death Note fan, like, is his favorite anime over everything. He went on the longest Facebook rant about how much he hated it. And he's like, why didn't you just watch the dubs from, like, Japan and watch how it should be done? Because this is trash. Like, his rant.
It's got Willem Dafoe. That's enough reason to watch it.
So he just saw the trailer, and that caused the rant.
He's like, I don't want to see this. I'd rather just watch the dub. Like,
well, there are guys out there. I mean, there are certain examples where me and V do the same thing. I mean, I won't go on a Facebook rant about it. I'll go on here and rant about it. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think we've dedicated an entire episode to it. Why? With the rebooting of comic book movies.
Yeah, that was a fun episode.
I liked the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. I liked the original 3 Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
You know? Why? I like Andrew Garfield.
I mean, Tom Holden did good in Homecoming when I watched it yesterday.
And we talked about the differences between them too, right? Because Tobey Maguire was more the drama actor. He could do the character.